Hey, welcome. Today, we're jumping into a topic that's absolutely everywhere, artificial intelligence. It feels like this giant, sudden revolution, right? But what if I told you this overnight success has actually been in the works for decades? That's the story we're unpacking today.
Which really brings us to the biggest question on everyone's mind. How on earth did we get here? How did AI go from a cool science fiction idea to something that can write code, create art, and basically change the world? Well, to really get it, we've got to go back. Way back. I mean, the stuff we're seeing now is just mind-blowing. You've got AI that can generate text that's indistinguishable from a human's, create these stunningly realistic images from a simple sentence. It can even summarize a dense scientific paper for you. But none of this just appeared out of nowhere.
We are living right in the middle of what people are calling the generative AI explosion. It's this incredible moment of rapid progress. But this explosion is really the final act of a very long story.
Yeah, this was absolutely not an overnight success. The real story of AI is this long, winding road, full of brilliant ideas, huge breakthroughs, and honestly, some pretty crushing disappointments along the way. So let's hit rewind and see how it all started.
The whole thing really began not with computers or code, but with a dream. It was this big philosophical idea. Could we create a machine that could actually think, that could learn and reason just like one of us?
And this dream got its official name, artificial intelligence, way back in 1956 at the Dartmouth Conference. You can think of this event as the official birthplace of the entire field. This is basically AI's birth certificate.
And you have to appreciate the sheer ambition of these pioneers. Just look at this quote from their proposal. They believed that every single part of learning and intelligence could be broken down, described, and then programmed into a machine. What an incredibly optimistic and bold vision.
But even before the field had a name, brilliant minds like Alan Turing were already laying the philosophical groundwork. He came up with the famous Turing test, which was a really clever way to ask the question, can machines think? If a machine could chat with a person and trick them into thinking it was human, well, Turing argued that it had achieved a kind of intelligence.
So, the dream was there, the ambition was there, but the path forward? Oh, it was anything but a straight line. The history of AI is less like a steady march and more like a wild roller coaster, with these incredible highs and some really, really low lows.
And there were these early flashes of success that got everyone incredibly excited. Take a program called Eliza from 1966. It was a simple chatbot that acted like a therapist. But here's the crazy part. It was so convincing that some people were absolutely positive they were talking to a real human. Sound familiar?
This timeline really shows you that boom and bust cycle. You'd have these moments of excitement, but then progress would just stall out. The truth is, the technology, the raw computing power and the data, it just wasn't ready to deliver on the promises. And when that happened, funding would disappear, leading to what we call AI winters. But then, a huge milestone, like IBM's Deep Blue computer beating the world chess champion in '97, would come along and signal, hey, the comeback is on.
So what changed? What was different this time around? What were the key ingredients that finally lit the fuse for the massive AI explosion that we're seeing today?
Well, it turns out it was a perfect storm of three key things finally coming together at the right time. Think of it this way. First, you need fuel, and that was vast amounts of data from the internet. Second, you need an engine, which came in the form of incredibly powerful computer chips called GPUs. And third, you need the grain, and that was a breakthrough in algorithms called deep learning.
And that last piece, deep learning, was the real game changer. It's this technique that uses neural networks, inspired by the structure of the human brain, to find patterns in all that data. This is the breakthrough that completely revolutionized things like computer vision and understanding human language, and it paved the way for the powerful transformer models that are inside tools like ChatGPT.
So once you had all three ingredients, the data, the power, and the algorithms, the whole thing just took off. This powerful combination is what finally pulled AI out of the research labs and slammed it right into the middle of our everyday lives.
And now its impact is just massive. AI isn't some abstract idea anymore. It's a real tool that's changing everything. It's helping discover new medicines in healthcare, it's driving cars, it's detecting fraud in finance. You name an industry, and AI is reshaping it.
Of course, with this much power comes some really big challenges. These are the critical questions we're all wrestling with right now. How do we make sure AI isn't biased? What happens to our jobs as automation grows? And how in the world do we fight misinformation when AI can create fake images and videos that look totally real?